Well, if you guys have been paying any attention at all, you'll notice an uptick in homesteading. What is homesteading? Well, we're going to talk about that today. We've got Ashley Carter coming in, who's not on Alabama Unfiltered, and she's here. And I'm also not on Alabama Unfiltered, yet I'm here. But it will all make sense, or maybe it won't, but you guys need to tune in to find out more about homesteading. What is it? How anyone can get involved? And if you go to the behind the scenes footage, you might even see me slonk some raw eggs.
We're literally debating that it's bad that people get to say what they think.
Can you imagine? I'm reading Psalm 144 and it says, He trains my hands for war.
We are on the brink of total destruction of America as we know it.
Let your rebel flag fly.
Welcome into this week's edition of Alabama Unfiltered. I am one of your hosts, Scott Beeson. Allison Sinclair is also here. Amy Beth Shaver is with us remotely. Ladies, how are y'all? Hope y'all are doing well today. We get the peace sign. Are you through? We have started the show,
researching,
Allison.
and you're
still
like
trying to figure out what we're doing today?
Yeah, it's
I can tell you what we're doing.
Okay, tell me.
We're either doing homesteading. It's homesteading. I'm sorry, I apologize.
Talk about puberty also.
Well, I'm thinking about going through puberty. I need to grow a little bit more. But it's either homesteading or prepping. If you're really swanky, you call it homesteading. If you're kind of against the government and preparing for the future, it's called prepping. And because of that, we have Ashley Carter with us. And Brian Dawson is here.
We're not sure why.
Brian
Nobody
Dawson
knows.
wanted to be here.
No. let's be truthful. My arm was twisted. I wanted to go sit in the corner and watch you guys do it because I didn't have anything to do for the next couple hours. And then they said, well, why don't you just join? And then I was forced to go put on my 1819 shirt to join the podcast.
Well, I mean, when you wear the shirt, you can see it. It's billboard
like
size.
Yeah.
It's full of 1819.
I appreciate that.
Ashley's is more like 81 with some scribbles on the side. And
Okay, keep
Hold
going.
on.
Keep going,
there's some
Scott.
muscles. And then Allison is
So little you can't see.
You can't even tell. Just looks like an 8. Yes. You're so skinny.
This is our new merch, which is so exciting.
Awesome.
Brian, tell us. We've got some other things too.
But wait, there's more.
Well, when
if
you
sign
join
up
the
now,
club.
2 for $19.99.
Yeah, so we're going to have a merch store opening soon. But right now, if you do join up as a member, join the fight, right? If you join the fight as a member at different levels, you get different merch options and packages that come with the level that you sign up at. Obviously, the more money you give us, the more cool stuff you get. But I've had a ton of people reaching out asking about, will we have a merch store? And absolutely we will. And we're really excited to see everyone in Alabama rocking our super dope apparel.
If I stand up and turn around, will that mess?
Only if you walk like you're doing the...
No, I love
have
the
to-
back. I think, hold on, we're going to see if I can
You're
do
doing
this.
the model
Yes,
butt
like the
shot.
back. No.
Oh,
no.
it's just the back of the shirt. Oh, sorry.
See, I just love.
What is it?
Sorry,
It's awkward
Scott.
Yeah,
here.
just go ahead. What does it say?
It says kindling cultural and civic revival. And at the bottom, it says independent now and forever, 1819 news. And it is a very detailed map of Alabama where you can see all the different counties and cities and roads and everything.
And there's
else.
this dot, especially where my house is.
It
It's
says
like
you
right
are
there.
here.
Yes.
Scott is here. He needs that, so
That's
he knows
how
where he
it
is.
starts.
And the
Sometimes I have to
sweatshirts are-
take off my shirt just to find my way back home, but
Yeah, and
It
if you
works that way.
haven't, if you've joined the fight and you are a paid member and you haven't gotten a hat, there's a story about that.
you're not
Who
going to get one.
knew getting a hat would be so flipping hard?
I think you're just a hat snob.
Of course, if it's gonna have 1819 on it, it's got to look good like this.
Gotta
You
be
know what I'm
best.
saying? Yeah.
Like this.
Like
Hey, and
this.
no, I'm going to go ahead and say these are good quality.
They are very
You know,
good
a lot of
quality.
times you
Yep.
get something
Yeah.
and you're like, really? They
That
should have
was-
just kept it, not and just kept
That
all
has
my
been
money.
the headache, is that we wanted to make sure anything that goes out with the 1819 brand on it embodies the brand, and that is quality, right? Our journalism is top quality, so we want to make sure that everything we do is top quality if it goes out. So
Can you
Very
give
good.
us a hat estimate? Because the mock-ups that I saw, I really like, but I must be a loser. I'm
It's
looking
true.
forward to the really, really good ones.
Can go with
It's
that.
true.
It's true.
It's true.
What we're going after, like if you go into Dick's Sporting Goods,
Mhm.
you'll see the Alabama or Auburn hats. They're like Columbia or PFG or whatever. They're like those are fitted. We won't have fitted ones, but they're like the really high quality trucker caps with the
Right.
white back with a Navy front,
Right.
and then it'll have the Alabama flag on the front, and then on the side it'll say 1819 News.
Very
so
good.
that's the goal. Who knows what's going to happen? We were supposed to, like ideally these would already been out. And
Well, I mean,
everything
these
else.
look like the old timey trucker hat. I mean,
Yeah.
they've got the billboard front.
Yeah.
Big. And my wife got rid of tons of hats that I'd kept for years and years because they were old and yucky and nobody would wear these.
Yeah.
So we
Now
need
all
some
the
more.
ladies want
You're
those
going to break out
hats.
your bell bottoms and see if you can bring those back?
I did find an old John Deere hat,
Yeah.
John Deere trucker hat. And
Probably
so my
sell that
family
on
was like,
eBay.
those are cool. Well,
call that
it has
vintage.
paint. It has paint on it too. So has some issues. So what? Glad you're here. Well, listen, my merch actually works.
Can hear you drinking.
Oh, it's ice cold, and it's been there that way for hours.
Hours
And hours. So we're talking about homesteading, prepping,
Yes.
and that's
So we're going to
Ashley's
call
thing.
it homesteading. So we have this thing where
Right.
YouTube kicked my podcast off and it
Yeah.
hasn't kicked yours off yet. So let's call it homesteading just to be safe right now.
Yeah.
Did you talk about prepping?
No, but I feel like prepping would get you kicked off. There's a guy
Okay.
I've been listening to, Mike Glover on Joe Rogan, and like his whole Printify, his whole business, right? His livelihood. They just were like, you're radical. He's like, because I'm teaching people how to prepare for like if a hurricane comes.
Wow.
Yeah.
I
So-
didn't realize that. Yes, homesteading is
Yeah,
what,
there
is
it
what
is.
we're talking about
Homesteading is what
today.
we're
So
talking
homesteading, which would be not prepping, but being prepared.
Right.
Or is it? Or is it being prepared? Or is it just a different, an alternative lifestyle?
I think it's a more peaceful lifestyle.
A peaceful lifestyle.
very
So
much
tell
so.
us a little bit about how you got into this. What is it exactly?
Okay.
The government didn't issue you like 40 acres and
No.
a mule, and you had to race
no.
everybody out in the wagon train. And
I caught
No.
that 40 acres and a mule reference
You
that the
did?
government issued. I did.
Yeah.
Wow,
no.
I figured you would.
Yeah.
Somebody
I'm
would.
here
Somebody
for
out
you.
there would.
Yes.
So let me read to you what Wikipedia, which we all know is very trustworthy,
Very.
says about homesteading.
Okay.
Homesteading is a lifestyle
Mhm.
of self-sufficiency. It is characterized by subsistence agriculture, home preservation of food, and may also involve the small-scale production of textiles, clothing, and craft work for household use or sale.
Okay.
So we asked Ashley to come on because she was just like a really normal.
She used to be really normal.
no. She was just like living a normal life like most of us do. And you and your family made kind of a drastic
Yes.
decision. I won't say you're living off the grid, but just to simplify and kind of get back to like when I had chickens, I got chickens because I wanted to like
You
be
have
in
chickens,
nature. I did. I like 5 years ago,
Oh.
we've had 2 flocks, but we
and
had
you killed them all.
yeah.
Not to eat. They just died.
Well, raccoons. It's tough.
you-
It's a tough life.
It
It's
is.
hard out there on a chicken.
But like, I
Yeah.
just
Right.
wanted
She's
to
not
connect.
good with plants either, I'm
I was
sure.
just
So, I
about to
mean,
say
you
the
have to
same
feed those
thing.
chickens if you keep them in a cage.
I love my chickens. There was Alice. She would come up when we would let him free range. She would walk up to our back door and peck on the door until we let her in. And then we'd just like carry her around the house. She was a
Really?
really cool chicken.
How did she die?
She jumped the fence.
Made a run for it.
That's
And the
so
dog
sad.
got her.
And
Wasn't
then
the smartest
and
chicken.
then the dog brought her back. It was so sad.
Oh.
She was a cool chicken. But my whole motivation was like to get back in touch with just simple, like
Okay.
the
Yeah.
earth, which sounds so stupid, but our lives are so this.
Yeah.
And nothing that there's no dirt. There's no,
Right.
and my kids still freak out when a tomato grows. They're like,
Yeah.
I'm like, I
It's
failed.
amazing.
So
Yeah.
what was kind of your story, why you decided to take this leap?
Well, we were living in I would say, a really nice home downtown. It was just too much house for us. My son had left to go to college. Abby fell in love. She was finishing school and she decided she was going to get married and it's empty nest. And so it's just going to be me and Nick in this 3,000 square foot home. And we started talking and we were like, we want to do something different. So we'd been watching You, Me, and the RV. I told you that, Allison.
Yeah.
So my dreamer mind was like, okay, we're going to get an RV. We're going to travel the world. No.
Okay.
Nick was like, that's not realistic. We can't just
'Cause you have to
travel
make
the world.
money.
Yeah, you've got to have. I have work full
Right.
time, so I don't know what you're going to do, but we can't just do that. And we had some family property that we had thought about moving out on. What's going on here?
Brian's making fun of me.
She said she has a full-time job, and I'm like, she sure
Yes,
does.
she sure does.
Oh, I thought you were making fun of me because I was doing that.
No.
So anyway, we decided that we were going to move it out on the property. We had intentions.
The RV?
The RV, yes.
Okay, so you got the RV to travel the world, and then
in my dream world, yes,
Okay.
that's what I was doing. You know, I was going to get one of those magnetic maps, and we were going to just
yes,
put all the
absolutely.
states
That's what I
we
want to
went-
do. I want
Yeah,
to do podcast and radio show from the RV
that was my dream.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Isn't that the Leland?
Well,
Yeah.
it was my idea first,
Okay.
Well,
but
He just
My
put it
dream
into
we
was-
had
action.
some bumps along the way on the.
We're still working on the
We're
bumps.
still working those bumps out.
Yeah.
Yes.
so my dream just kind of went boop, and we
Okay.
moved it out on the property, and it's still there. We haven't left. But about that time, I mean, gas prices were going through the roof. The cost of food was increasing. My husband's parents weren't very good and weren't doing very well in their health. And so we made a decision that we were going to change our course and not travel. We were going to start a little homestead. So he said, let's just start with planting a garden.
Okay. Yeah,
and I
makes
was like,
sense.
no, we're going to go all out. You
Really?
know, I want to
Because
do
in Alabama, you plant a garden, which means
Yeah.
what she probably does. She gets 2 pots and puts 2 tomato plants. That's the
Yeah.
garden.
Yeah.
And
And when things go really well, you get the stick to go in there because they're
yes,
actually
because
growing.
you don't want
and
it
the
to fall
caterpillars
over.
didn't get it.
So you're going to disagree. So how
Been
many
there.
tomato plants did you start with in your garden
I mean, I built 6 raised beds.
Mhm.
for tomatoes?
No, for all the things.
All of the things.
And they only
Did you build them or did you make your husband do it?
I actually built the I
Okay.
had some help.
Jared.
But Jared did not build
Even
them.
I built the. Anyway, we'll get to
Yeah.
mine.
Yeah. No, I built
Actually,
them.
her husband
I had
came
a little
over
bit of
and
help.
did it, but that's neither here nor there. Go ahead.
You could start a business. You could travel and build boxes
Yeah,
and
we
chicken
could do
coops
that.
for people.
Yes.
Anyway, so I grew okra and corn and tomatoes and cucumbers, but they only grew about halfway.
And then they died the same
I
time
think
as the
I have
chickens.
a soil issue, which y'all can
So I
diagnose.
can, help you with that.
Diagnose
Okay.
what's going on.
Have
But-
you ever raised any? Whew, there it went again. It left me. Have you raised anything that's lived or made it to?
Other than your
Production.
children, have you got
that's
anything across the finish
questionable.
line?
Well, so we've started. This is the 3rd year we've tried to grow things in the garden. Okay, it hasn't gone well. I've really tried, but this year we had a very good production of midnight snack tomatoes. I don't know why they're little tiny ones.
Yeah.
They're kind of dark on the
They were
top.
supposed to be beefsteak,
They're so weird.
and they're
No,
but they
they're
were good.
they're made to be.
they were
small.
really supposed to be
Yeah,
that small.
so we had
Okay.
plentiful tomatoes. I think Ashley's like actually doing what I think I'm doing.
Getting it done.
But so you started with gardening,
And
I
you said, let's go
guess.
full out. So
Well,
what did full out mean? Because a lot of
so-
people are thinking about doing this. And I think the beauty of it is the independence that it can give people.
Well, first of all, you're going from a 3,000 square foot home to an RV. That's about
Right.
500 square foot, maybe less than
Not
that.
even that.
I wouldn't think
think it's a
that. That's
little
a
less
big
than
RV. Yeah.
So that's, you're having to downsize
Right.
completely. So
Was
this-
that hard? Who was more likely to
I
kill who? You or
literally,
your husband?
Brian can attest to this. We sold our house and we gave away everything we owned. I mean, really, we were just telling people from the church, like, come get it. Please,
You didn't even
just
put it
come
on
pick
Facebook and let all the illegal
No.
aliens?
No, I
No.
just gave it away.
Wow.
I mean, it didn't serve any purpose for me anymore. I couldn't take it in the house. And where do you?
Brian's
I cannot do this
cannot
with
be
y'all
back.
today. You're not allowed
Scott's
back on
funny.
this.
Am I not allowed to laugh at Scott's
Give it
jokes?
to the
just 'cause
illegal
you guys,
aliens.
You
I'm
guys don't laugh
trying
at
to be
Scott's jokes. I
professional
feel bad
today.
for you.
Whatever.
solemn.
I'm not going to be professional
Comedy
anymore.
gold, and everyone's just like,
Sorry, Amy Beth. No, I just gave it away. I didn't need it anymore.
Really?
So yeah, I was just giving it to people, and we just, so it was very different.
Okay.
So then we just decided we were going to plant the garden. That was great, but I was like, we got to have chickens because I want chickens. I thought they were cute. Let's do this. I've had them before. I mean, I spent summers on the farm with my grandparents growing up, so I knew what it was like. But it was a big undertaking. I mean, some people think you're just going to get a couple of chickens and, it's not a lot of hard work.
Right.
It was a lot of hard work. There are a lot of weekends to build this big, huge chicken coop. And so we're starting with that. But next I want to get pigs. So
You're going
that's
to do
our-
pigs next. Now, you got to
That's-
feed them a lot, though. They take a lot of.
Well, no,
These
they
are kinda
really
a lot
don't.
of
I
work.
mean, you just got to go out and feed them, but they're pretty
Right.
independent. I mean, they're not as
Yeah.
hard as you think. I mean,
I know, but they're not just going to graze and all that. I mean, you
so
have to
there's
feed
a certain
them.
type of pig. I want to get Idaho pasture pigs.
Okay.
Yeah.
you
so
think
they're
you
not
can
as
kill them after them getting all
How many-
cute? and
No,
That's
so
like,
this is where I cut myself out.
Okay.
I'm great up until it's time to slaughter, and then
Okay,
that's all
I'm
Nick.
I'm out.
So
Yeah.
you don't.
I don't.
But y'all
take,
do eat some of the chickens.
I haven't yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Going
So
to.
we just
The poor
we
boys.
slaughtered one.
That's usually easier for women to just go out and kill
Slaughter
all
is
the,
such
kill
a
the
hard
males.
word.
Well, what else do we kill them? What
Murked it.
Process,
What do you want me to
process
say?
them.
Process
Yes.
them.
But you posted
Bring them to plate.
I think you sent us a picture of you
Yesterday.
like cleaning a
A
deer.
deer. Yeah. Yesterday, last night, my husband killed a deer, so I did help him with that. But
But
the
that
chicken
wasn't
I
your
had
pet,
fed,
really,
like,
right? The chickens
they're
might
not my
follow you
pet.
around.
Those are really cute deer, though. Like,
Yeah.
so when you see pictures of deer and you're like, oh, that one like died looking like something off of a Disney movie.
This
Yeah.
was a Bambi.
Couldn't help it. It's food.
Right.
So it's serving its purpose.
Can we
So
take a time out because I want to bring Amy Beth
That's
Yes.
what I was gonna
/ Miss Alabama into
He's
this
just smiling
conversation
so pretty.
and see how, because I know she's tried to garden and maybe is having more success, but like, could you slaughter a pig?
No.
Do you clean your deer?
But
No.
but you are thinking about y'all want to homestead a little bit, right? Y'all want to have a place where you can survive.
Hey, we'll talk about when we come back. I have thoughts.
All right, let's do that. We've got to take a quick break. We've got to hear a message from our sponsors, so let's do that, and we'll be back in a minute.
What's up, guys? Brian Dawson, CEO of 1819 News here. I want to take a minute to tell you about my good friends over at Centurion Labs. Cold weather is here, and you know what that means. Colds, the flu, and coronaviruses are running rampant. Your immune system needs protection, and that's why I love what my friends over at Centurion Labs are doing. They're always looking for safe, effective, affordable ways to keep you healthy and at your best. Got a cough, sore throat, or a runny nose? You need to check out their Ninja Cough product. You heard me, Ninja Cough. It contains the strongest non-narcotic cough suppressant on the market with no sugar, alcohol, or dyes. So it's safe for everyone, even your kids. Looking to strengthen your immune health, prevent sickness, or fight off the flu, and of course, coronaviruses? Defender Immunity Boost is for you. It is an all-in-one immunity booster that combines vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, copper, and quercetin in just one pill to save you money and help defend your health. Having trouble sleeping? Defender PM is a nighttime immunity booster that will help you get rest and boost your immune health. Now is the time to defend your health, save money, and support a company that shares your Christian values and loves this country. Centurion has dedicated the last 15 years to research and develop safe, effective, and affordable products made in the USA that you can trust. For a limited time, listeners of this podcast can get 20% off their first bottle order when you visit centurionlabs.com/1819news and use the promo code 1819. That's centurionlabs.com/1819news with the promo code 1819. Check them out, guys.
Welcome back to Alabama Unfiltered. I'm actually really excited about what we have to talk about today, but I first want to say thank you to Centurion Labs and all they're doing to help Alabama kind of fight COVID, the flu. They have so many great products. One that we found out about that I think Scott still needs.
Don't get me
Ninja
started. Oh, you made me think of it. It's planted there.
But go check out their website. They've got some great products, I think, and they're all made here in the United States, Alabama owned. You'll really like what they're doing. But we have Ashley Carter and Brian Dawson back with us. What?
I don't know why I'm here.
Well,
You
because
were
you're
bored.
kind of like you want a homestead. I mean,
No,
you're
I
all
do.
into all that kind of stuff.
So I'll give my 2 cents and I'll shut up and then start talking the whole time like I do in Bible studies I go to, where I'm not going to say anything and I talk the whole time. So anyway, so what was it last week? Not this past weekend, but the weekend before, I've been threatening to make some raised bed gardens for my wife. My wife actually is capable of growing things. She's also a mother of 7 children.
She is a rock star.
She really is. She's incredible. And I stay pretty busy running 1819. However, she communicated that she wanted some raised beds. So darn it, she was going to get them. I can't put together a puzzle or like a model car, right? Like, I mean, I'm seriously comically deficient in the area of anything engineering or construction or putting together of. It's bad.
Really?
I can't fix anything when stuff breaks at my house.
I
have
wasn't
to call
going with
people
that
to come
guess.
fix
I
it.
mean, you've got the whole
Yeah,
you know,
no,
Grizzly
it's-
Adams.
yeah.
I'm gonna live out with me and the bear.
Yeah, no, I mean, I could, kill things, maybe, you know, but
Just
that
not clean 'em.
requires breaking and stopping life, you know.
Right.
Anything anyway.
But not the
anything that's
cleaning and the
creation-
processing afterwards.
I can do that, but it's the whole idea of like the toilet's broke, call the plumber, you know, oh, this is out, call this.
Right.
So I'm not there. Not handy at all. I think I could learn some of it. The construction aspects is just not my thing. That's okay. Her husband is amazing. He knows how to do all kinds of stuff. And he came over and he's like, okay, what do you want to do? And I basically just told him, and he didn't even write anything down. He's like, bah, 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 had it all in his head. He goes, okay, we need this many feet of this. We need this many feet of that. We're going to need this many screws. I'm like, no, I got some screws right here. He's like, that's not going to be enough. I'm like, how is this not going to be enough screws? Well, it wasn't. And thank God we got more screws. And he basically pointed and said, do this, do this, do this. And then obviously assisted. But he was trying to teach me how to do it so that I was not completely dependent on Nick. Right. But it was cool. It was a fun time. My kids got involved. You know, my little Charles, who's 3, about to be 4, he was getting to do some drilling and stuff. It was a blast. And so now my wife has 3 4x4, 4 foot by 4 foot raised bed gardens where she's going to be able to garden. And that's where we're starting. Yeah. And based on our HOA rules, we're definitely not going to get chickens.
We
Definitely
just
not.
Don't get the rooster.
Yeah.
I've been through that in a neighborhood. But Amy Beth, you were going to tell us like what you're doing your own little gardening thing. How's it going?
Yes. I'm not good at gardening. I have raised beds. I grow weeds very well.
Very good. Very good. Well, you can do that in Alabama now.
profitable
At least
now.
for medicinal
Yeah.
purposes. Right.
Get the contract from the governor.
Hey, I can grow tomatoes, but the problem is I either forget to pick them or the deer remember. And so I'm like, oh, that's awesome. So I have evidence of a plant, just no fruit, because we know tomato is a fruit. I'm kidding. I have no idea if it's a fruit or not.
It is. Well done.
Is it?
Yes.
Seeds.
I want goats. I want a Highland cow, but apparently that's too fluffy for Alabama.
No, there's some.
No,
there's a
they're
couple of
okay.
farms.
And Ashley,
Yeah. You
Couple
can have
farms. Yeah. You got to make sure there's a shady
I
place
can?
for them to hang out and
Yes.
stuff. Yes.
Shady, like suspect, like a
This
lot
is
Yeah,
of
I mean, we're
criminals.
growing weeds.
Or
Like where
yeah.
you
You got
hung
a
out in
shady
Colorado.
place right by the weeds.
Oh, what kind of cow is that? It's a shady cow.
He's very furry.
Super sus.
Look, I want a
fluffy.
shady cow, and I want a bunch of chickens. And Ashley and I have already discussed that. And we even have an enclosure. I didn't know if you know this, you guys, but bull mastiffs can leap out of a fence. We had one that was 150 pounds and could leap over the side, which meant none of the dogs went into the little enclosure. That's where the chicken coop's going to go. And Ashley and I are going to talk about that later because my dream's not dead yet for chickens.
Just remember, you have to have like at least 3 or 4 because they're very
Yeah,
social.
Well, and I need to have one that if it gets eaten by the dog, I don't feel bad. So maybe like I don't
Ugly
know.
chicken?
So we'll see how that goes. They're going to be yard birds,
Right.
because I'm an unincorporated part of the county. I won't say which, but anyway, that's my plan.
So is this going
That
on your
sounds great.
farmland or in your house?
She's not telling you.
This presently will go on my farm. I mean, my house. The plants and the chickens are going to go at my house. Chris says we're going to grow trees and some other things. I don't know. He's the scientist. I just go along with his plans. I'm like, that sounds great. So,
Awesome.
So I think the thing to remember, and Ashley, you can talk about this, is like it really is. And we've got these eggs. See, all my chickens laid blue eggs because I just thought that was so cool. And you've got blue, brown. There's some pink ones.
There's some big ones. Do y'all have ostriches?
No.
That girl's got
and
a
I
big.
can tell you they're
Your
delicious.
chicken's got some big butts.
I've eaten many Carter farm eggs raw, 6 at a time. And they're
Because you
fantastic.
you do what to them?
So they're called slonking.
You
Scott.
slonk them.
No, there's no SH.
There's no
CH.
It's
It sounds like
slonking. Slonk. So anyway, strange word.
Do it
But
now.
we can talk more about that in the after
No.
hour segment about why you should be slonking eggs.
If I get a
I'm
cup,
just telling you, you
will
cannot
you
tell your
slonk one of
friends in
those on
Alabama
air?
you've been
Slonk 'em all.
slonking anything.
This will be the best podcast ever.
So
The most viewed podcast.
should I slonk eggs in the after hour
I
segment?
think so.
You
All
should.
That should be
Join
the
the
behind the
fight.
scenes.
Watch me slonk eggs. And you'll get a sticker.
oh yeah, we need the sticker.
1819
Are
stickers.
we gonna?
Yeah.
The expert has got to tell me. So, all right. So you've got your homestead going,
Yeah.
garden,
Yes.
chickens.
Yes.
These are your
Yes.
eggs from your chickens, and So how long did it take to get this started? Did you start with baby chickens?
Yes. So we got 15. Well, actually, we have 15.
Okay.
But we started with what?
What?
What
Brian
is going
keeps
on over here? I
giggling.
can't
Y'all,
do this.
This is like
Okay.
This is like hanging out
I
with
got
all my
8 to
favorite
start
people in one
with.
room.
If we were
and
doing this without him,
Yeah.
there'd be all sorts of notes
We'd
about
be
how to
in
make
so
the
much
show
trouble.
better.
Yeah. I got 8 to start with
Okay.
from a lady that we go to church with.
block him out.
I got baby chicks.
Okay,
So,
and they gave them to you.
yes, she
Oh,
gave
that's
them to me.
nice.
I
I would
asked
buy
her,
mine.
so she incubated them, and then
Okay.
once they hatched,
What kinds?
So there's several different types, but most of them are Easter eggers. So yes, and then after that, I decided I wanted more. I'm not paying attention to you. And I had another friend who has chickens, and he told me I could have some of his, and so I went over there and got them, and so now we have 15. So
Did you bring in grown chickens to your?
did,
See, that's tough.
but
I
you
tried
do
to
it
that.
at night in the dark where they can't see, because you know they're blind at night. They don't see.
Oh,
at
you
night.
just shove them in.
Yeah,
when
so they
they're
wake up the next
roosting?
morning. They
wake
don't know
up
what
and they're like-
happened.
And they're like,
oh, hey,
Hey, I didn't
Yeah.
even know you were always
Yeah.
you've always been here.
you've always been here.
oh, we had bloodshed. Well, I mean, I kept them separated.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I
So
know.
you've been
Put them
running
in at
chicken
night.
Yeah, you have to
fights
put 'em in
your
at
part
night.
of Shelby County too.
Yeah, they're
No.
blind at night. They cannot see at all.
That's how I make my money.
It is profitable.
So Ashley, how many eggs does it? So how many chickens does it take per person to produce enough eggs per person?
That's a hard question. Depends. They're not always laying, so sometimes they may be going through a molting season, so they may not lay.
Do they
But-
do it at the same time?
No, they do it at different
Okay,
times.
so how many
I mean,
how many eggs a
and in the
week do y'all
winter-
get from your 15
we get
chickens?
6 a day.
Oh wow. Okay.
So, and in the wintertime, they don't lay as much. So even though I have 11 hens, they're not all laying every day, but we're getting 6 eggs a day. So
You have to crack the
Okay.
whip.
So get on with it, girls.
I just let them lay however
Just-
they want to. I mean, that's
Right.
enough. That's a dozen in 2 days for us.
Right,
And
that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So are you creating new ways to make things out of eggs?
Yes, we have a lot of different ways. But I mean, I have kids. I have grandson. We have
That's
Nick's
me.
parents. We have
Give some
people
to
that
Brian.
What do you
just
give to the community?
Yes,
bring
I
all
don't sell
these
them at
for-
all. I just some people
Are we taking
do,
some of these
but
home? Is that the
Sure,
deal?
if you want
Okay,
to.
great.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm
Should we
looking for
talk about
freebies.
how, because a lot of people don't understand the hen reproductive system,
Right.
and
They don't need a rooster.
they don't need a rooster.
Only to fertile the egg. So if
So they
you
can
want to
make
have a
the
baby
eggs.
chick,
Right.
then you're going to need a rooster.
So you have 4 roosters?
We have 5 roosters.
Oh, I
Have
thought you said
no,
you had
5,
11.
4 roosters. Excuse me.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Yeah, one got.
It's new math.
Sorry.
Right.
So that's why
So
they
they don't
lay.
fight? The roosters don't fight?
They get a little aggressive with one another. So with my hens, I only have 1 rooster. The other
Okay.
3 roosters are working my garden right
So
now.
they're free ranging, free
well,
roaming.
they're inside.
You don't really care if they die.
Well, that's not true. I mean, I don't care. They're going to get gone
Right.
anyway, but they're working my garden right now.
Okay.
So where we're going to plant for the spring and summer, they're actually working that. So they're eating all the old seed and getting all the bugs and all of that.
scratching and
Yeah.
digging and fertilizing.
So they're inside a fence around the garden area.
and they don't get out.
Well, we have a coop they go in to roost.
Okay.
We
But
have-
in the daytime, they don't jump over.
Mm-mm.
They don't
We
care.
clip their wings so they don't
Oh,
fly.
wow.
Can I ask a birds and the bees question?
Sure.
I really am curious. And when we did a Bible study over at their house, it was a men's study, and I asked, and no one ever answered.
Oh gosh.
So if the chickens lay the eggs and the roosters fertilize the eggs, do the roosters fertilize the eggs when they're out or when they're in?
Oh my gosh, Brian.
What?
It's the same as
Definitely in.
us-
Oh my gosh.
Well, how do I know?
Before it grows to that
Yes.
size.
Okay, see,
Yes.
this is. I'm not the only person that doesn't know this.
Okay, that's true. I mean, it's an informative program.
Let me take you through the process. So basically, a hen, the reason they lay probably on average 5 days a week, I guess, is because they ovulate basically every day. Okay.
Okay.
So like human women ovulate once a month. Okay. Hens ovulate once a day,
Mhm.
and that egg gets in production.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. So if you have roosters,
Who really likes a hen? Are you going
if
down this
a
road?
daddy rooster really
Likes
likes
a mama hen.
rooster,
Okay,
then
yeah.
they can be, the eggs can be fertilized just like in humans
Right.
as they're
Mhm.
traveling down. Okay, so some of those may actually be fertilized,
They may.
but they won't start growing a cute little baby chick unless the hen stays on top of the
Right.
egg
Keeps
and
them
keeps it
warm.
warm.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so you probably do eat a lot of
So
fertilized
see, you got
eggs.
all sciencey. Now I'm wondering how many
He's an
days it's worth when they.
Well, we collect every day, so you don't
Yes.
have to worry about that.
Okay.
So every day we're
Oh,
collecting.
I'm not worried if there's a.
But they'd have to lay on
them.
them for 21 days straight. They can't get up at all. So they'd have to
Really?
they'd have to lay 21 days. Yeah.
They can't get out and
I
walk
mean, they'll
around
get
and
up a
come
little bit.
back.
They're coming right back.
Yeah.
I mean,
Really?
they're really not going to leave that area if they're
Wow.
going to lay on them.
Have you ever slonked an egg that had like, we'll check them
We
out
wouldn't
first
know.
because sometimes you get little pieces
Yeah.
where
I've heard the little red dot.
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
dot.
Fertilized egg.
that's like the beginning
It's
of
probably better.
I mean, it's
for-
probably
for-
better
for
for
slonking.
you for slonking.
Slonking. He
That is
thinks it
CH.
really sounds
Poor
better.
Amy
Does it
Beth.
sound worse if you put a CH in
Schlonking.
there?
It reminds me of another word.
Oh, I don't even want to
Yeah,
know what
we
that
don't
is.
either.
I don't want to know.
Anyway.
She'll tell you things you never wanted to know. I promise.
But I
Yeah.
do think that was helpful information because I didn't know that. I didn't know anything
Right.
about that about chickens. You know, and so you're talking about like when kids see a tomato growing, like, ooh. To me, it's like, okay, it's popping an egg out. I obviously know what an egg is. I've taken enough biology to know. And
But
I have
how does
7
it get
kids
fertilized?
myself, right?
Yeah.
That's.
So, yeah.
I'm going to tell you, it's a good question.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Sounds good. But I mean, there were 2 or 3 viewers who didn't know.
Yeah.
I
Probably
probably
so.
more.
Probably more than that. Yeah.
Do y'all want me to tell you how
They're kissing
worms mate?
No.
Oh.
And you don't have to have a rooster, just so you know.
I want
so
to know
you can
why
have
you know how
hens.
everything mates.
Because it's cute. The one thing I don't know is butterflies. Anyway.
Crash and
Okay.
burn.
Okay. So this whole homesteading thing
Mhm.
has, we started probably 5 years ago just because, I don't know, it sounded fun.
You're not really homesteading. You killed 3 or 4 chickens.
No, I mean,
Allison,
we started fake
I've been
I've been
homesteading.
to your
Tomatoes.
house.
There's
That's
no
not
homesteading
homesteading.
going on there. What'd she say earlier off there? Everybody needs to do what's
It's like
it sound
Southern
whatever
homes and
your
gardens
truth is
should
my
come to your
truth.
home
Right.
and do it.
Well, okay.
She identifies as a homesteader.
Yes. She has like a statue of a chicken in the yard.
I do.
Better than a statue of a pineapple.
Oh yeah.
That's true. We did have to take the pineapple down.
You did?
Heck yeah. We don't. I
All
didn't
of
even know that was
Gardendale's
such a
disappointed.
thing. I didn't know
Oh
it was
my
such a
gosh.
thing. Okay, so to get the
No, I was
chickens,
about to ask a question.
Yes.
But what do you think this whole, why is homesteading all of a sudden this thing?
Like the thing to do now.
The thing to do. Where is this coming from?
I mean, I think a lot of people they weren't paying attention while things were happening. I mean, when gas prices were soaring and food costs were going up, and you'd go and there wasn't formula on the shelves. I mean, and now you look at the egg prices and like, oh, I can do this. I'm going to have my own chickens and I'm going to have eggs. And so now everybody wants to jump on and do it. But I think the biggest thing is that for us, like we were kind of just tired of the government being so involved in our lives, I guess would be, and being able to control so many different things. And so for us, if we could be a little more independent and not have to depend on others, then we wouldn't have to be so worried about the price of this going up or the price
Right.
of that going up. We were providing most of the things that we needed nutrition wise at our house. We didn't have to go out and look for it. So, I mean, I think that has a lot to do with it. People are, they're kind of catching on. Something's going on and they need to do something about it.
All the
So-
supply chain issues over
Yes.
COVID. That was a nightmare.
You know what I find interesting is the left right come together here. So like I'm not a big reach across the aisle person. I think the left has gone full blown psycho in so many areas that you really can't. However, I do think there's some people who may disagree with me on some social issue somewhere along the line or fiscal policy or something that would land themselves on the left. But if you remember who it was that was talking about Monsanto and all the crazy, right? It was the left, right? The left was talking about this. They were the ones that were like, hey, we need to be eating this way. We need to be like, it was really the left.
right.
And then conservatives kind of were like, oh, I think they're right. And all of a sudden, so now it's just, and again, it goes back to this restructuring of fault lines in the political sphere. It really is big because it used to be, and I'll do this real quick. So you used to have basically Democrats hated big business, right? Conservatives hated big government. So there was this, right? So, but now big government and big business is the same thing.
Yeah.
And so now the people are starting to realize that it's a vertical problem, not a horizontal problem.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't hate that person. It's these people. Right.
Right.
Yep.
Anyway.
Can I still say when we're all living in the log cabin to my leftist buddy, the tree guy, y'all caused all this?
Yeah.
But
Totally.
hey, we're on the same team now.
Yeah.
Right.
We can do that.
Yeah.
But he may say, well,
We
look,
need
y'all
some
the
type
ones,
of-
y'all helped us, the corporations, usher in the centralized farming and
Yeah.
the seeds that wouldn't propagate later. And so, yeah, okay. We were responsible for some of it.
That is weird how this whole like community living used to be like the leftist hippies,
Yeah.
the libertarians, the whatever. And now if you do that and you're a prepper, you're like an insurrectionist,
Homestead.
Well, I
far-
guess that's what we are.
Right,
Sorry.
right.
I
She's
mean,
already
yeah.
said she
Our
was
whole
worried about the
family-
government, so that
Yeah.
got
Yeah,
that got us thrown off
Sorry.
It's only a matter of time before you guys get
Yeah.
kicked off too.
Sorry.
completely. Are you
Anyway.
kicked off completely?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, they completely took my page down. This
How
is
did he beat
our
us for
our
that?
second sponsor, brought to you by Rumble. We've been brought to you by Rumble. Go download the Rumble app. I'm half joking, but seriously,
No.
Rumble is going to be the premier way to get all 1819 content and all other content. I'm telling you, like YouTube pulled podcasts they had no business pulling. Like
Yeah.
my one with Curtis Bowers, we didn't even. Now me and Curtis Bowers, we could go places,
yeah.
but we
Right.
didn't.
Right.
It was in between the lines. They went back like 6 months
Yeah.
prior and then just yanked it, gave me a strike. Went back another one, a year before that, yanked it, gave me a strike, and then said, "Oh, you have too many strikes." And it's like, but
They were
Yeah.
just looking for a reason to
Right.
do
yeah,
it.
Yes.
exactly. And so we got on the radar. They did that. So, but I think it actually goes into the same vein of what we're talking about here, right? Is we want to create content ourselves, right? We're not some big, huge media company or whatever with these pipelines or whatever. We're creating content that's good for people, and we want to be able to distribute and deliver it to people. And so Rumble is a much better alternative. Their stuff's getting better. You guys can, no one does this, and it's the weirdest thing that nobody does this. All of our podcasts are available on video on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify, just like Joe Rogan's podcast is video on Spotify. We do the same thing, and that's just not where people go. They always go to YouTube and Rumble, and we do get
Right.
some.
It's a
Yeah.
mental block.
It
I
really
don't know.
is. And
Yeah.
so, anyway, it's just a matter of time before this podcast gets kicked off. Mine's already kicked off. So just mental note for anyone watching this, that if you're wanting, and it's not just going to be 1819 that this is happening to, it's going to be all of your favorite people will eventually get the boot.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and there'll be a divided. There'll be conservative, pro-American stuff over here
Yeah.
on Rumble, and then all the commie leftist stuff will be left over at YouTube, I guess.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or just
Still-
neutral stuff. I mean, there really is
Right,
anyway,
just-
but
Yeah.
vanilla stuff. That's right.
So I'm curious. I'm going to bring us back.
Thank
Okay.
you.
You're welcome. So I'm thinking, because apparently I'm a faker and I'm not a homesteader, even though I think in my head I identify as one. And
That's
like
probably
Amy Beth
appropriate.
and I are kind of limited. Y'all kind of have, you're in Gardendale, which is like Egypt.
Way,
Yeah.
way out there. It takes me
Gosh.
like 3 hours
5
to
minutes
drive
from here.
in. Yes.
Yes.
So far away. So you have land and can do it all. But the good thing is, even if you don't have land, if
Mhm.
you can't, because actually chickens, you have to feed them
Yeah.
for them to live.
Right.
And you have to like sometimes clean some things,
Yes.
and you have to gather eggs. So like it's not like cute little chickens and then all of a sudden
Right.
they sustain. But for people like Amy Beth and myself who are a little more suburbia, you have the option, and this is what I just started using Manna Market, which is a local co-op.
Mhm.
They grow as much locally, actually down in Chelsea area,
Mhm.
that they can. And then they work with organic farmers in other regions to bring in. And you go, actually, I got to go pick up my box today. So I'll go, and they deliver too, but you pick up your box of fresh fruits and vegetables.
Yeah.
They do eggs. They make their own butter. They have cheese that they bring in. So like there are ways that even if you can't homestead, you can help your local community.
Yes.
And you can get good, fresh food. Same with meats and chickens.
Yes.
And actually, I need to look into that. Maybe we should all split a cow.
I have somebody.
Okay, so
Okay.
we'll.
I need a
Yes.
whole cow
Yeah.
by
So,
myself.
yeah.
with my
But
family.
But like
need
Amy
more
Beth, that's something that you and I could do where we're not feeding into Walmart and the big chains all the time, and we're actually finding outlets for when all that dries up. We still have our local farmers that,
will
we're supporting.
never dry up.
Yeah.
That's so the plan, and again, this is where I was
Okay.
planning on going in the after hours. So I'll tease
We'll
it out
just
a little
save
bit.
it because
Well,
I want to
no,
hear
but
this in after
but
hours.
Yeah, and I'll tease it out. The point is everything's about centralization. And centralization, they want all the power to come from one place. Have you heard about the people, how if they get a power grid at their house, if they get, if they get off the grid, that's literally what it means. Off the grid is you're not on the power grid anymore.
Right.
Right.
And then they get like fines and taxed and harassed because, they're using solar and something else to power their house because they want you on the grid. They want all of your medical, all of your food, all of your power to come from a centralized place. Think of it like a pipeline
Mhm.
so they can turn it on and off.
Yep.
And that way, oh, you guys are behaving this way, or oh, you said this on your podcast,
Turn it back a little
turn
bit.
it off.
Right.
No food for you.
That's what they do.
Yeah.
at
That's what they
banks.
want, right?
Yeah.
That is what is happening right now. And so everything is getting centralized. Yeah, banks. Oh, you want funding? Your ESG score, as I always say, you don't have a black tranny on your board? No funding for you.
Right.
Yeah.
So
It's
Yep.
okay.
Amy Beth, help us
Chime
out
in,
here.
Amy Beth.
What are you thinking about all this? Like what part, where are you going to land? Because there's a spectrum of homesteading.
There is. I think I'm excited to try it because I agree 100% that it's up to us to take care of ourselves, and anything that we can do to be independent of the government and of their crazy centralized ideas. I want to do it. That's why we, bought this property so that we could sustain ourselves and our family. Land has all.
Uh-oh.
I think we lost her.
just nod like this.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
She does look so smart.
I think
right there.
I think her point though is trying to be self-sufficient.
Right.
And I really wish that Alabama and maybe the governor or someone is watching this program, Alabama really should try to do all that it can for we, the people of this state, to be self-sustaining among ourselves.
And what he
Yeah.
means by that is get out of the way,
Right.
Because I know
we don't need a
we don't want
plan,
any help.
But
Right.
we would love to have someone saying, "Hey, look, we need to produce as much of our own food as we can. We don't need to send all of our cattle off to some
Selling all our land to
centralized
China.
up in to
Yeah.
China or somebody in the Midwest to put it on a stockyard and send us some of it back. Maybe. I mean, Alabama is one of these places we can grow almost anything, we can raise almost anything." And we've kind of really gotten away from that, which is taken away from our independence.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not just for individual families to be able to say, hey, look, you know what? I may have a terrible social credit score, but I can take care of myself. It would be wonderful if communities, a whole state, had the ability to genuinely say we dare defend our rights. Because right now we depend on other states and other peoples.
Yeah.
And I think Ashley's story and why I was excited she got to come on here and share it, despite our giggling to the point where she wasn't able to share it as boldly as she probably would have.
We're going to have her back for a genuine, this is
And
how
we
you
will
do
not
it.
have Brian
will
back
not be
that-
here. And I haven't done anything other than laughed. But it's just like, so we always talk about education, right? And so education, and then you begin to realize, wait, I've been subsidizing my responsibility as a parent. I'm letting the government do that, or I'm letting this outside entity do that, or whatever. And again, if everyone has their different opinions or whatever, but when you really realize, wait a second, this is my responsibility. What happened as our society is we literally we started outsourcing this thing, and then the message from the schools is don't try this at home. Leave this up to the professionals. You'll ruin your kids if you try to teach them. And we've subconsciously bought it, but there's certain things that are innate within us that we're supposed to be responsible for.
Yeah.
And so you look at that in education, and you see people pulling their children out of the public education system in droves, saying, you know what, I'm going to do this, right? And then you've got Nick and Ashley who are seeing all this stuff on the horizon, who also pulled their kids out of school in their high school years, pulled them out and homeschooled them. So they've got that bug to do these things. And as the opportunity arose for them to do this, like, yeah, let's just do it. And I didn't think they were crazy, but when they said it, I was like, well, this will be interesting to see. And now, like, everyone's jealous. They're like, oh man, I wish I had a farm.
Right.
They like to come visit.
Yeah.
I saw an
And see
article.
me.
I read an article just the other day about someone saying, okay, so what would happen if we actually pulled away from the public school system and did what you're doing, homesteaded, and mom was staying at home and dealing with the chickens and messing with the garden, and the kids were helping with the garden, and the kids were learning about all these things, and they wouldn't be subjected to some of the stuff they're learning at school. They would actually get an education. And the bottom line of the story was, this is not crazy.
No.
If we tried this, if we did this, we actually all would be better off.
Oh yeah.
If you were doing it and I was your neighbor and you were doing it, even almost homesteader over here was doing it, we would be able to, I would sell you some of my eggs or trade you, and I would have a cow, and Amy Beth would have the Highland cattle, and a community would grow up.
Yep.
And it really probably would be better especially for our children.
Yes.
But just a few generations ago, that's exactly how it was
Yeah.
Right.
before the public school system. I
Yep.
mean, that's just
And that's
the
how my
community
grandparents did it.
educated the kids. It was families that got together. They went and worked in the fields or their garden or helped they were an apprentice to their dad or to their mom. And that's the way it was. And just a few short generations later, that's such a foreign
Right.
thought. But I
Right.
think that's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
In the Industrial Revolution, so it was interesting. So Charles, who the guy that led me to the Lord in prison, we did a podcast with him, and then he was at the Bible study at her daughter's house where we did our men's study, and he was talking about the Industrial Revolution took the fathers out of the house. You always hear about mothers getting taken out of the house and how, but it really did begin when the fathers were taken out of the house, because what it used to be, like the shoemakers lived, their storefront was on the bottom, their house was up top, and the shoemakers lived upstairs, and the shoemakers made shoes, right?
Right.
The blacksmith family, their blacksmith shop was downstairs and they lived upstairs, and that's what they did. They were blacksmiths, right? And the sons would grow up watching their father in a trade. And so maybe he had 4 or 5 sons. Maybe one of those sons is like, I don't think I want to do blacksmithing. Cool, you're going to go be an apprentice at their house. They don't have any kids,
Right.
and they need someone to help with, whatever the thing was, And it was this whole idea of young men always had men that they could go to and learn from. And so much of masculinity and manhood is caught, not taught.
So
You can
true.
sit down and teach and teach and teach, which we need to do. We need to
Right.
have those moments where we sit down and say, hey, son, or if there's a young man that's not your son that doesn't have a father, and you sit down and give them those secondhand lion man speech, right?
Right.
And you do that. But so much of it's caught. You're with him doing something, and it's like God when he's walking with Adam in the garden.
Mhm.
Anyway, I'm not going to go down that rabbit trail, but we've lost that. And what are we pursuing? Because that's the thing, is like, and I think we're in like almost like a blind pursuit of convenience, and it's really laziness.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to do that. But what's
Right.
interesting, and Ashley, maybe you can say, it's a lot of work, but is it fulfilling?
Yes. Yes. Very fulfilling. I mean, it's very peaceful for me. That's like therapy to go outside. I mean, y'all have seen pictures. I think I've sent them. I mean, the sunrise and sunset itself is just absolutely gorgeous. But to be out there working in the garden and the sunset, it's just beautiful. And we've forgotten that because we're so tied to this or anything else that we're involved with. We're always going and busy, and you need that time to just stop, like you said, and just kind of reconnect with the earth and, do something with your hands other than twiddle on your phone,
Right.
you know?
And you've done it long enough for the new to have worn off.
Oh, yeah. I have.
The honeymoon period's
Yeah,
over.
the
Right,
honeymoon
right.
period is off.
Yeah,
I mean, it's over. So
And they were in a camper doing
yeah,
it.
and
Right.
an RV.
Short honeymoon.
Flipping
Yeah.
camper.
Yeah,
Or a
flipping camper.
flipping camper.
But what's interesting about this whole thing to me is it's the whole practice what you preach thing that I'm struggling with. I know what's good for my kids don't have a phone, ain't gonna have a phone. I might get them like a flip phone when they get a car.
Right.
They're not having phones.
When you
That's
have to leave
that's
them at
just the way.
practice,
Yeah.
they gotta.
And I have
an
an extra phone that it's a cell phone. It's my old cell phone. That's the house phone. And when Brennan goes to baseball camp, it sits in his bag. He
Yep.
turns it on and calls me when he needs to, or
Yep.
it's like, it's an emergency, but he knows not to get on that phone. Right.
Right.
They don't have phones. We don't have a video game system in our house. They don't have any of these things. They're outside barefoot, running around in the grass, in the dirt, playing in the dirt. You said it earlier. We don't have any dirt, right?
Yeah.
We're not, it's all screens and everything. I am on my phone so much because of running a media company, me just being a terrible person and not being able to break the habit of being on the phone all the time, mixed with running a media company, right? And it just all blends and blurs together. But I know better because I'm like, my kids will even start looking at a phone, stop looking at that phone. And I'm like,
Right.
right? It's like, it's ridiculous. But we know that it's better for them not to have these things. We
Yeah.
know it. And then we just need to be Ashley and jump in and do it.
I wasn't always that way. I mean, it wasn't until the shift happened that you're like, oh my gosh, like what were we wasting all of our time on? Like we were running everywhere like crazy people, never at home. And now that's where we are. Like
Homebodies.
we're always at home. I mean, I work.
And you enjoy it more.
But I work from home and I'm outside with my grandson playing in the dirt. I mean, I'm trying to keep him from eating rocks, but you know,
well, the chickens eat rocks.
Yeah.
Helps your immune system.
yeah, it builds
Yeah.
your immune system. And he eats some
Also
dirt.
digestive. It helps
Right.
break down the.
But he was with us last night while we were, skinning the deer and processing it. I mean, because we're not going to take it somewhere. We process it ourselves. And so, anyway, that's just how cool my husband is.
I'm just going to say I didn't know you were old enough to have grandkids. So.
Yeah, I have another one on the way.
That's crazy.
Yeah, she'll
And
be here. in
You, on the
June.
other hand, should have like 4 grandchildren. I'm
Oh,
just
no,
looking
he
at
did.
I'm just looking
I
at the
resemble
300
that
the
statement.
$300 worth of eggs she has right here, just coveting. Is that your honey?
This is muscadine jelly.
Oh, muscadine jelly.
Yeah.
Wow.
mhm,
The
yeah.
muscadines grow on your farm?
Yeah. Yep.
Really?
Blueberries,
That's-
strawberries. There's a story with the
So
jelly
awesome.
too, because I gave it to somebody that's pretty famous. I
Marty?
guess. Marty
Really?
Rabin.
Really?
Shenandoah.
Shenandoah. Yeah.
Wow.
I was talking to him one day and he heard me cooking, so he's like, "Can you bring that to me?"
You're like, sure.
Can.
That's how I want to transition real quick is, and I, hopefully she doesn't blush until her head explodes here. But so Ashley, you guys don't know, and we all know because she takes care of so much with the podcast, but she also takes care of so much with the business. I'm talking like 1819 could not function, keeps the trains on the tracks, keeps everything going.
She's very
puts it all
organized.
together. Unbelievable. Books the biggest and best guests you could possibly have on podcasts are coming on my podcast and your guys' podcast. Does all this. Well, so they were talking on the thread about what are we going to talk about on the thing, this segment, this segment, that. I'm like, what about the segment where she's like somehow able to run 1819 News and Homestead? I put a little magic wand. I said, it's magic because if she can do all, it's crazy.
I think
really is.
that's it. Like, I hope that this podcast, as disorganized and crazy as it was, there's a lot of really good tips and thoughts in here. And like, just start small. If this is at all a desire, just do one little thing. Have a little container of tomatoes. I don't judge you. Scott might, but like, just
You may
start
not be
with
able
something.
to plant a huge garden.
Right.
Build a raised bed.
Build a
Plant
raised
there.
bed. But what did you mentioned on our phone call the other day? You have like 3 or there are a few YouTube channels. Oh, wait, we don't like YouTube. Rumble channels.
They're
that
on
you
other
watch.
channels, but Off Grid with Doug and Stacy is probably my favorite. Now they're completely off grid. They
Okay,
built,
well, where's the starter of that?
what do you
Where's
mean?
the
Is there
one
another-
where you live in a swanky neighborhood and you have one
They
tomato
did.
plant? Yes.
They did
They
that.
started with that.
They did that.
Okay.
Yeah,
See?
they sold
There you go.
everything.
Oh, sold
Now I
everything.
have guilt. No,
They
I
sold
will.
sold
everything.
everything.
And then there's Living Traditions.
Okay.
I follow them.
Okay, are they a little more on the grid?
They got off.
Okay, well, where's the one that's on the grid but pretends like they're not?
Well, I don't know. I haven't met them.
That
yet.
would be homesteading.
All right.
I'm going to start my own
1819
channel.
News on the grid, but not, or off the grid, but not with Arison.
Yeah, there you go. Start your own channel. I mean, just you can have raised beds. You don't have to have that many hens. You could do a small, like I call them, like a mini coop. Because we had some friends that came by this weekend that wanted to learn, and they're going to build a small little mini coop and have 4 hens, and
then
get
they'll-
eggs, and you can do it. You can do it in your
You
backyard.
can be a Mini Cooper.
There's
Oh,
so
look at
many
you.
ways to do
Mm-hmm.
it. I mean, there's so many ways to reuse things. I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there. You just have to.
Will
look
you
for
come
it.
back to the program when we can actually find out about how to do it?
Yes.
Yes, and,
will do
and
that.
Scott and Brian are staying home that day.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. So I know we've got to go, but what are we going to talk about on Alabama Unleashed? You're going to slonk an egg.
Uh-huh.
I'm slonking eggs. I forgot I signed up for that, but I'm down.
That's
We're
all we
gonna-
need, really, just to
Yeah.
see him
Just
slunk
that.
eggs.
I'm gonna
We'll
try
talk
not
about
to
I'm
throw
gonna,
up.
I'm gonna put as
Pick
many
out
as you
your
can
egg.
put in one of those cups. I'll take them all.
I'm gonna try not
Really?
to throw up.
5,
And we're going to
6.
put it in that. We're going to put it in the 1819
No,
cup.
I don't,
But
know,
they gotta
I don't
be
know
able
if I
to
can
see
handle
it.
a full one of these, but we've got cups right
Just
out there.
if you just
Clear
slunk
cups.
No.
one or two.
Fuck, there's no in it.
Okay.
We're going to talk about Tractor Supply
And
and,
they
the
went
drag
broke.
shows that
Yeah.
they're hosting.
Drag
Yes.
shows, hens not laying.
And then you wanted to talk
Yeah, I
about
want to talk about how they're trying to kill us with the food.
Yep.
And that's
All right.
another big piece of
Yep.
homesteading.
seed oil.
Yeah.
Let's have that.
David
We'll-
Gornowski. Actually, don't say his name. That might have been why my
Yeah.
YouTube channel got kicked
Yeah.
off.
We'll edit that.
Maybe so. Hey, thanks for watching this week's edition of Alabama Unfiltered. Don't forget to stick with us. We've got Alabama Unfiltered extra after hours.
Well, if you're a member, it will come to your inbox and you can.
right.
Okay, no.
No, membership portal on the website. So you'll go
Oh.
in and it'll say either sign in, or if you're already signed in, it'll say your membership. You go there and all the latest extra behind the scenes content is available.
All right,
there.
let's rewind. If you're a member, you can go to the membership only portal on the website, and all your videos will be listed there. And then you can watch
Absolutely.
Brian.
So join the fight
Schlonk.
with us.
Brian
And-
Schlonk.
Stop saying that. Seriously.
Arison is done.
Oh, we will try to be back next week. See y'all.